أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. زين للناس حب الشهوات من النساء والبنين والقناطير المقنطرة من الذهب والفضة والخيل المسومة والأنعام والحرث ذلك متاع الحياة الدنيا والله عنده حسن المآب. قل أنبئكم بخير من ذلكم للذين اتقوا عند ربهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها وأزواج مطهرة ورضوان من الله والله بصير بالعباد. الذين يقولون ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وقنا عذاب النار. الصابرين والصادقين والقانتين والمنفقين والمستغفرين بالأسحار. صدق الله العظيم. I've just recited verses 14 to 17 of chapter number 3 of the Holy Quran, which translates as, beautified for people is the love of that which they desire, of women and sons, heaped up sums of gold and silver, fine branded horses and cattle and tilled land. That is the enjoyment of worldly life, but Allah has with Him the best return. Shall I inform you of something better than that? For those who fear Allah will be gardens in the presence of their Lord, beneath which rivers flow, wherein they abide eternally, and purified spouses and approval from Allah, and Allah is seeing of His servants. Those who say, Our Lord, indeed we have believed, so forgive us our sins and protect us from the punishment of the fire. The patient, the true, the obedient, those who spend in the way of Allah, and those who seek forgiveness before dawn. Verily Allah has spoken the truth.
Brother Wais, thank you for that beautiful, beautiful recitation of the Quran. Thank you so much. Jazakallah. Dear friends, welcome. Welcome, welcome, and welcome to our annual Iftar. We eagerly look forward to sharing the spirit of Ramadan, the spirit of Iftar with our friends year after year. And we eagerly look forward and glad to host this event year after year. What makes this special? Can I lift you? Come. Be easier this way. Less distracting. What makes this special? What makes Ramazan special? When 1.8 billion individuals give up their daily routines of their morning cup of tea, snacking, even drinking when thirsty, the breakfast, lunch, all given up. Why? What is to be gained at all, if anything, in this process? Because you're only losing. Sure, they are fasting. They of course fast from food and water. But that is the lowest level of fast. Absolutely and completely the lowest level of fast. So what's fasting really about then? I've given this example several times in this platform, and I'll share it again because it's one of my favorite. And that is, say, look at Arif as a person, and Arif as whole. And for any reason, if I were to cut my arm off or chop my arm off, and my arm were to fall, it is now other than me, different from me. And while it'll be there, it'll waste away, rot away, and go away off completely. Now, although there's a part of me that is gone, is Arif any less? Sure, he may be less physically, but what about his thoughts? What about his feelings? What about his emotions? What about the faculty with which he makes his decisions? Is that any less of Arif? We often get confused ourselves with our bodies. That me, I am my looks. Me, it goes beyond our bodies. Me, I am my degrees. Me, I am my statuses. But what if we were to remove that piece by piece? We remove even ourselves completely, even physically. If all parts of me were to go, the things that make Arif Arif, has that become any less, or is that to absolutely remain the same? What makes you, you, and what makes me, me is not our physical selves. It's something far much more deeper than that. And it is our ruh, our soul, our spirit. That's what makes me, me. That's what makes me decide what I need to decide and what I want to go ahead and decide. And it is that very faculty of myself, my soul, my spirit, that the spirit of Ramazan or the act of fasting tends to subdue my material self and live in and enrich my spiritual self. So why does that matter? Why does the soul and the spirit actually matter? Why will we be bothered with it? We can't see it. Because ultimately, finally, actually that's all that matters. Everything else is temporary, transient, and a waste. No matter which religion you're from, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, doesn't matter. What you have come with in this world is actually your soul and your spirit. This body, this material self, that's the accident. That you don't have a chance over, choice over, control over. How much control you have over your body? You think you have control over yourselves, your muscles right now? I didn't choose to, but I have to wear these spectacles. As I'm getting older, it's getting more and more difficult to fast. I have this illusion of control over myself, but over my body itself, I have absolutely very little authority over. What I do have authority over are my thoughts, how I choose to feel, are the decisions to make. This is who I am. This is what I've come with. And in the afterlife, later when I go, whether I'll be buried or if you have a different faith, will be cremated, or if you will be born again in another form, your body will go away. It is your soul that is eternal, that will continue. And that's the reason why in Ramazan we try to give up and forgive our material pleasures, give up food, drink, water, so that we can awaken and enliven that soul. I've got to quote a beautiful poem from Rumi over here, and what Rumi has to say about fasting. Ramadan is the month where the body is deprived and the spirit is honored. So what? This is what Rumi says. There is a hidden sweetness in the stomach's emptiness. Why? We are lutes, musical instruments. We are lutes, no more, no less. If the sound box of the lute is full of anything, no music comes out. If you fill a drum and try to beat it, there will be no sound. But if the brain and the belly are burning clear of this fasting, every moment a new song comes out of that fire. So in Ramazan, there is an expansion, expression of the spiritual expression in forms of long nights of prayers, of recitation of the Quran, in forms of generous charity, and large gatherings such as these of brotherly sisterly companionship. And in this gathering of brotherly sisterly companionship, we have our topic for the day. And our topic is left or right? Which way? Well, we have a point of view that perhaps Ramadan will show us the way. Regardless of your political affiliations, we all actually share one common goal. What would that goal be? I'm sure you'll all agree that our goal, our purpose is simply that we want to grow. No matter how you define it, we want to get better ourselves, be it materially, financially, and not just for ourselves, our family, our country, our tribe, our nation, our country. We are looking for material growth, we are looking for financial growth, and I hope also we are looking for spiritual growth. Now, what is the path that will get us this growth? If we go into the political scenario, we are given in this range from the right to the left. Will it be the right, the religious, and perhaps the ultra-right, the fundamental religious, that will get us to this growth, where it's my way or the highway? This is the way we do it. I am the one who's right and nobody else who sees eye to eye with me, you're wrong, please get out of the way. Or is it the left? Is it the ultra-liberal way? It says anything goes. As long as you feel good about it, that's fine. No matter what you do, that's completely and totally, absolutely fine. Or is there a path in between? A middle path that will provide us that growth that we're looking for. Current material growth, so that our minds, our body, even our souls will soar. To discuss that topic, we have our speaker. He's a man of science, a brilliant doctor, a doctor of internal medicine, director of Acura Hospital and of HBS Hospital, a trustee of ILM Montessori, and he's also a man of God. He's a convener of the Quran study circle, several Quran study circles. He holds a senior office in the Jamaat al-Islami Bangalore. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please welcome Dr. Taha Mateen to tell us about left or right or center. Can Ramzan show us the way?
Thank you, Arif, for that introduction. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Ya ayyuhan nas ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem alladhi khalaqaka fasawwaka fa'adalaka fi ayyi suratin ma sha'a rakkabak kalla bal tukazzibuna bid-din inna alaykum lahafizin kiraman katibin. Sadaqallahu al-Mawlana al-Azim. Distinguished guests, brothers, sisters, and young children, good evening, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to this great evening, a wonderful evening, because there are men and women, because this is a cross-section of society of Bangalore, of India, of my nation, of my country that we should be very proud about. I must acknowledge Father Victor here. Father Victor, he is the Dean and Principal of St. Joseph's College, my alma mater. I don't know, you should be proud or I should be proud, Father. Thank you for coming, and we really acknowledge that. And I'm proud, very proud. My entire education is St. Joseph's. We have brothers from the Sikh community. We have brothers from so many other communities. We have friends from the Indian Institute of Science, and we have so many people around. We are here to celebrate Iftar and share it with our Muslim brothers. Friends, as you know, Ramadan is a month in which Muslims fast, and then they give a lot of charity, and then they pray, do some special prayers in the night, and the entire month is a month of prayer, a month of charity, a month of seeking God's forgiveness, being hungry morning till evening. We get up at a ungodly hour at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Father, can I say that? I'm not sure. At an ungodly hour like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then no water in summer. And thank God for Bangalore, God's been very kind with some rains and stuff, and then we have short days. But way back, I mean, in the West, the nights, the evening fast opens at about 10 o'clock, 10:30, David, hi. At 10:30 in the night, and then early morning again, they start off at 2:30, 3 o'clock. It's impossible, I mean, apparently impossible. The entire Muslim community across the world, across races, across languages, across nations, is fasting this month of Ramadan. It is making a statement, a bold statement, a powerful statement, a very different statement in a world today which is going in a completely different direction. The Muslims are saying, we believe in God. That's what they're saying. That's a major statement to make in a world which is forgotten that Creator. They are saying, by keeping the fast, they're saying, God is watching us and He knows what goes through my throat. My mother doesn't know, my father doesn't know, Father Victor doesn't know, my teacher doesn't know, but God knows. And I'm very careful about what goes through my throat. And what? I'm not talking of bad things. I'm not talking of drugs and alcohol and bad things. I'm talking of simple water. Even water going there, I'm careful. Does it please God? Does it not? So I am saying that there is a God, He is watching me, and He knows what goes through your heart. And we are saying that God's commands are serious. They're not jokes. If you want, you can fast. If you don't want, you may not fast. If you want, you can pray. If you don't, everybody fasts, by and large. And the statement is, God's commands are to be obeyed. That one day God will judge us. That this we will be questioned. We are afraid. That one day, when life ends, life does not really end with death, and there is something beyond. Life is not just food, water, drink, and sex. There is something beyond. There are pleasures beyond. The verses that were just read by Brother Awais. Would you want to know something beyond the normal pleasures of life? زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ, women, وَالْبَنِينَ, families and children, وَالْخَنَاطِيرِ الْمُخَنْطَرَةِ, heaps of gold and silver and stocks and shares and whatnot, and houses and plots and horses and branded cars and Mercedes and God knows what. Do you know, does anybody want to know that there is something beyond what you see? As pleasurable, more pleasurable. As valuable, more valuable. And the Muslims are saying, yes sir, we believe that there is something beyond food, drink and water. That there is eternal life of bliss for good and obedient people, and a life of torture and hellfire for people who follow their own desires, whims and fancies. The Muslims are saying that God not only created us but also guided us through men called prophets, through holy books and scriptures. That it is obligatory on us is to follow the book, to attain the path of peace without any fear, without any doubt, without any anxiety or without any grief. That's a bold statement. No anxiety, no grief, peace and happiness. God, I'm sure it eludes a lot of us. A life without fear, doubt, anxiety or grief. That we are saying, man's nature, you, me, old, young, the ancient people and the modern people, the Americans, the Indians, and yes, the Pakistanis, have a common, what may I say, an unchanging nature. And therefore, moral principles do not change and are constant, while some laws may change, some don't. The 10 Commandments, for example, they don't change. They don't change. They are a constant. And we believe and we serve our parents, we serve our neighbors, we don't kill, we serve God, and we love the neighbor, but not the neighbor's wife. And it's important, and that does not change. And it's important to know. Each and everyone does not choose his own way. Yes, I fast, but I fast whenever I want. I start my fast when I want. I stop when I want. No. We all fast together right at one time, and we all break the fast at one time all across the world. It's not left to your own whims and choices and fancies. Friends, Ramadan is a month, people just think it's fasting. We are actually, it's a time when stomachs are empty, and in the middle of the night when we get up, we stand in front of God and we meditate, we think, we ponder, and we read the Quran. This is the month of the Quran. And when we think about the Quran asks us crazy questions. It asks you to think, ponder, wonder, look around. It asks you, have you seen, have you wondered, where are you going, do you know? Wait a minute, it's asking you questions and you better answer. And today I thought, and we thought as a group, the Quran study circle, we thought we must introduce to some of these thoughts and engage people in these discussions. And therefore we go to the next slide. Friends, we live in a world today that has denied God altogether. God today can be used whenever you want for making money or for politics. You can create a God, you can drown a God, you can abuse, you can discard at will. He has no relevance in how we live our lives. There is a whole spectrum of life that you see there. On the left, the socialist left, the capitalist right, the conservatives, the Democrats, the Tories, the Labour Party, everything, anarchism, statism, communism, fascism. Oh my God, the dimag kharab hota hai. I mean, it's very, very difficult to know where you stand on each of these issues. First of all, let us talk about the left. The socialist leftist vision of the world, there is no God because they are rationalists, seeing is believing, and what we don't see does not exist. What we don't see does not exist. I don't see any God around here. That's what the guy who the first man in space, who was it? The Russian chap. Huh? Yuri Gagarin. He went to space in 1957, if I'm not wrong, and he was the first man in space, and he says, I have confirmed it, folks. I've gone to space, and you know what, Father Victor, there's no God. I didn't see it. You're kidding every day in that place. All right? So there's no God. I've seen it all. I've gone to space and done all the chakkars, and there's no God. Therefore, what to do now? Our decisions. Can we go to the next slide? Yes, seeing is believing. God does not exist. God did not create us. We actually evolved, you know. Nobody had to create us. It was a big bang, and then the amoeba, and then the one-celled, multi-celled, and we evolved. From the monkeys to the Neanderthals, those are your parents and grandparents. And therefore, there's no life after death. This life is the only life. So we plan for this life and here, and that's all. The will of man is supreme. Pain and pleasure are our guides. So guys, enjoy yourself. Have fun. And life is a pursuit of pleasure. Go towards pleasure and run away from pain. This is the ruling philosophy, by the way, even in the right wing. This is the ruling philosophy. Even though politically some people have become strong in several countries, this is what has infiltrated the minds and the homes. I'm not sure you agree or disagree. Seeing is believing. Next slide, please. And therefore, they go on, because of this rationalist thought, they go on and say, well, all men are equal. And that's what the United States Constitution begins with. God created all men equal. All nations are equal. Britain and America and Mexico and India and Pakistan, everything is equal. Everyone should be given one vote. Love it, right? That's what we follow. Ballot box is the best judge. Any question to do or not to do, the ballot shall decide. Rationality is the basis, and elections are the supreme court. That's all. And this is one way of living that has been adopted. And next. And now suppose we want fun and pleasure. There is a problem. One of the biggest problems for people who want fun and pleasure is God. God बीच में आता है कि नहीं आता है? He comes in the way. You can't do this, you can't do that. You know, there's so many do's and don'ts. And therefore God and religion is a big pain in the neck or elsewhere. It is a pain. So therefore you need to eliminate God and religion first. Kill him and finish him off. And then you can do what you want, but there's a voice inside and it says, hey, it's guilty. You've done the wrong things. You put your eyes on the wrong place and stolen somebody else's money for your pleasure. You know? Whatever. Let's not take examples. Conscience and guilt. So how do you suppress and kill conscience and guilt? You drug it. You drug it. And therefore, marijuana should be made legal. Drugs should be made legal. Alcohol is anyway legal because I can't sleep without that. There's a conscience. You want to have fun, but it's a hurdle. Number 3, the biggest hurdle is this damn family, man. Papa kehte hain, mama kehte hain, and these brothers and sisters, everybody's nosy in my life. You don't enter my life, okay? So I'm going to run away. I'm not going to have a family. I'm not going to have a wife. Kill the family. Kill the family. Finish off the marriage. Marriage is supposed to be the greatest instrument. They say, there are women and children here. They say it is institutionalized rape. Family is, and therefore needs to be immediately broken. So a liberated, rationalist, high-thinking, pleasure-seeking person, especially women, are never safe until they are in the prisons of marriage. And therefore, marriage and family is a no-no. Let's break it down. And then, well, for all the pleasure you can have, there is pregnancy and HIV. So what do? Condoms. And then what? Pills. And then what? Abortion. For everybody and anybody at any time of their will and choice. There's a great debate going on in the United States today. At what they're saying, Alabama said 6 weeks, Missouri said 8 weeks. This is in the last 1 week. They said, okay, you can have an abortion till 6 weeks. And then Missouri said 8 weeks. They're saying, no, it's not enough. They are saying 24 weeks and beyond. Leave it to our wish. We will kill our baby, pro-choice and pro-life. We'll come to that. These are hurdles for fun. Children are a burden, so create a creche, outsource children, surrogacy, outsourcing, creche, adopt a puppy, don't have kids. Double income, no kids. Dinks. Wait. Where are you going? All right. There you go. Children are a burden and laws and traditions are ancient, and therefore let us change all the laws. All the articles of the Constitution need to be changed because they're ancient. You know, zamane ke saath badalna chahiye. And then next. Yes. And then we have another opposite side, equally powerful today. And that says, well, we are about God, we are about religion. And you know what? It doesn't end there. There is race. There is caste which comes with that. There is superstition that comes with that. I'm going to show you a few clips after this. And then there's this concept of superior race with the right wing. They hate foreigners. They build walls. They hate democracy. They love Hitler. They love Hitler. They love fascists. They love authoritarianism. They don't like all this democracy, one shot and they get it done. The PMO does everything. So, the results, friends, ये जो कश्मकश है, ये जो हालात हैं, I mean these conditions, have resulted in a situation where there are wars, there is displacement. You will be amazed. 2017, 2018, 1 year, the number of displaced people in the world, can anybody guess, is 30 million people. 30 million people got displaced from their homes in 1 year. And it's growing. And it's growing. And that's the amount of displacement. Drugs and depression. I'm going to come to some statistics after this. Shrinking populations, creating immigration and creating backlashes and anger. Families are breaking down. There is loneliness and there is psychiatric depression and there is child abuse. You should. Anyway. Here are some clips. The Iraqi civilians flee fighting in 2003 as a British Army officer looks on. Look at the gun and look at the people packing up and running away. Next. Look at this man holding his daughter in Greece, walking in the rain, and he's from Syria with his child. US drug overdose deaths rose to 72,000 last year, data reveals. These are CDC figures, Center for Disease Control in Atlanta. You know what 72,000 means? 200 people per day. Can you imagine that? 200 people per day in the United States are dying from drug. This is prescription drug overdose, by the way. This is that tablet, that OxyContin made by Purdue Pharma, and they're dying of it. Doctors are prescribing it. And, well, this is a fun slide. This is a traditional family getting ready to give castor oil to that little child in the center. And he is kind of saying no to that. It's a very nice traditional family, Indian family, okay? The guy at the right on the top, you know, that boy, he's the one who has finished his castor oil dose. And the guys in the forefront here are the guys who are next in line, and it's just a fun slide. It's a traditional Indian family. And then the next slide, look at what is happening to families, 1960, 1980, 2000, and 2020. This is the natural progression of families. This is across Hindu, Muslim, Christian, right, left, India, America, everywhere. This is the same story. Tell everyone we scalped you how caste still rules in India. Inequality. Then, prostitution is seen as leisure activity, tackling Spain's sex traffickers. Sex work, it is called. 300,000 prostitutes brought from all over the world, especially from the African countries, poor people brought there from Romania and from other East countries. 3 lakh girls have been brought there, trafficked, and are being pimped there, although prostitution has been declared a legal profession. There is no escape. And this is what we see. And here there is a pro-choice and pro-life, the abortion debate. The pro-choice says not all pregnancies are viable and the pregnant woman should be able to choose to end it. And the other fellow says life begins at conception. Abortion therefore violates the right of the life of the fetus. There's a whole debate on this. Next. Look at this funny thing. There are 2 men here, one on the right and one on the left. The lady who is lying down is the mother. Look at this bottom. Cecil Eledge gave birth to her granddaughter, who was conceived with eggs from the sister of her son's partner. So one man is the sperm donor, the son is the sperm donor, his sister, no. The son's husband is the sperm donor, his sister is the ovum donor, and the mother gives birth to the child. Very funny. I mean, I don't know. Well, I should not brand it funny or otherwise. This is modernity for us. And they're very proud about it. Next. This is climate change. This is the Himalayan ice cap. Can you see the dripping away? Endangering 2 billion people. Next. This is a video clip wherein how science, this is nothing about our Prime Minister. This is how religion and faith and science interact.
प्लास्टिक सर्जरी को देखें, मुझे लगता है कि दुनिया में सबसे पहली प्लास्टिक सर्जरी शरीर मनुष्य का और माँ का हाथी का, गणेश जी का निर्माण.
Science, how science is, challenged by faith. Next. This is about displacement.
Mentre sarà che due giorni dopo già attivo per fare ma inshallah in zamana की कोई करते हैं कि क्या है और कजादी पर लगे लगता है कजादी आता है बंदा दूसरा वाला बोले उतर रहे पर खा रही है तो बड़ा जाती का आता है वाला बोले जाती है और बड़ा भी पानी वाला पूरी पानी वाला है.
Nanggal diri mata gua, baki motor ini jago bundanya tertentu, baki motor ini jago ada sisian ini kita.
Sembang kata dari ketika ada yang betul lagi na, ketika gun ini ada apa macam.
We can stop it.
Kita ini ada imam tu.
Next. This is corporatocracy.
3 billion in revenue.
Oh, yes, in revenue, thank you. And very quickly, the current list price is $2,000 a month in the United States, correct?
The current list price is $1,780 in the United States, and just to correct, the 3 billion was a global figure.
Okay.
For Trubal.
So the list price is almost $2,000 in the United States. Why is it $8 in Australia?
Trubal still has patent.
$2,000 for a month's supply of medicine in America, $8 for the same medicine in Australia. I mean, there is amazing corporate loot going on under this guise, and we see that. So, friends, where do we go? What is the center between faith and reason? between religion and science, between change and constancy, between equality and inequality, between rights and responsibilities. Next. Where do we fit? What is our position in life? Are we pro-choice? Are we pro-life? Think about it, wonder about it, ponder about it, and know why you are like that. Gay rights versus homophobes, secular people versus religion, socialists versus capitalists, democracy versus fascism, equality versus casteism, and modernity versus traditional living. Where do you belong to? Ask yourself, think about it. Next. Friends, like I said, in Ramadan, we read the scripture. When we fast, we ponder and we think about our other brothers. And the Quran asks you, forces you to think, where are you going? Where do you think you are going? Look at the questions. Why have you turned away from your kind Lord? Why have you suppressed your conscience, your inner voice? Why don't you think, ponder, and wonder? Why are you not thankful and grateful? You know, it talks about horses. Horses are, I did not see the movie, but I believe Bahubali is a very nice movie to see horses. And the horse that you use in a war, for example, has to be extremely loyal. It can't get hungry. It can't abandon you in the middle of everything. And you know how faithful the horse is? And why is the horse faithful to the owner, to the master? Because it feeds. Thoda sa khana khilao, and the horse is faithful. And God gives you everything, yet you're not thankful and you're not grateful. Is it not time that we looked at our blessings and we thanked God Almighty for what He gave us? Next slide, please. Questions to ponder. Again, we are asked, don't you see how you were created? See, this is something we fundamentally forget, that we were created from a drop of sperm. This is what we are. We are a drop of liquid. Today, we call ourselves, you know, so and so and so and so. But in reality, this is a drop of water that is talking today. This is a drop of water that has become a doctor and an engineer and whatnot today. This is a drop of water that has become rich today. And he is talking, I don't see any God. Who created him? Ra. Who created him? Who created you in the first place? Think about your creation. Think about what you eat. There is no food in Mars. There is no food in Venus. There is no food in Jupiter. There is no rain there. There is no growth of rice and paddy and wheat and fruits and grapes and olives and whatever. You don't get them there. Why is it that we get them here? Who gave that to you? If it wasn't for that, would you survive? Look at your birth, how creatively you were brought out, how you were given milk to drink, a completely nutritious diet. Think about it. Look at the cow, it eats grass, converts it into milk, converts it into blood. Don't you see the magnificence? Look at the rain, the day, the night, the sun, the moon, the stars. There is a message for the people who think there. Next slide, please. And then it asks you, can the following be equal? The deaf and the hearing, the good and the bad, the truth and falsehood, just and unjust, wheat and chaff. This is important to know. How is it that we can equate everything? And is the liar equal to a person who does not lie, the truthful? Is a person who abides by the law equal to a person who does not abide by the law? Is a person who cheats the same as a person who does not cheat? Should everybody be given one vote? I'm asking. I don't have answers to this. Is the learned, will you go, which company runs like this? You know, suppose we say, do you have cancer? Let us put it for a vote.
How many feel this man has cancer? Lift your hands. How many feel they don't have? Lift your hands. How can you be
equal? How can, knowledgeable people and illiterate people be the same? How can you apply that to, say, running a company? David, you don't run your company like that, do you? sit with people and say, oh, let's decide what ingredients to put. We don't do that. We consult the experts. Everybody is not run in that way. So think about it. How can the blind be equal to the seeing person? Next. How can you be oblivious to your Creator, your sustainer? He gave you food. He gave you, He created you. He heals your illness. He protects you. He guides you. He judges you. How can you turn away from this kind Creator of yours? I read a verse in the Quran in the beginning. Ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. What is deceiving you away from the kind Lord who created you and made you so beautiful, gave you balance in your eyes, didn't have one hand longer than this hand. You don't have to worry if this ear is going to grow more than this ear. It is perfect. You don't have to worry about your teeth, about one finger growing away and not stopping. It's perfectly balanced. He created so well. How is it that you can forget Him and be oblivious to His mercies? Next. How can you disobey your kind Lord who created you? And how can you choose to obey your own thoughts or those of other men? Why do you follow other people, not God? How can you waste things? How can you gamble? How can you cheat? How can you break promises? How can you be violent? How can you use alcohol and drugs? How can you tolerate poverty around you, hunger around you, sickness around you? What kind of human beings are you after all? This is a question that needs to be asked within ourselves and shaken up, and we need answers for that. Next. Friends, Ramadan, we're back to that topic again and we are finishing, is about celebrating God. We sing His praises. We remember Him. We thank Him every moment. We thank Him for all the things that He has given us. And we obey Him. We reaffirm our faith and we say we shall not do this thing. We shall not disobey. We seek God and His pleasure. We give out charity and say, God, be happy with us. We thank Him. We love Him. We humble ourselves in front of Him. You know something? When you fast, one of the most amazing things that happens, your voice goes down. You can't scream. It's kind of natural. You can't scream anymore. And when your loud voices, I quote this often. Brother Arif mentioned we are trustees in a small school called ILM Montessori, and we all sit together with the staff, and there was a housekeeping lady. She was also sitting. She's also part of the team. So her name was Nurjan. So Nurjan, we asked her one simple question: who according to you is bade admiyan bole to kon, chote admiyan bole to kon? Who is a big man and who is a small man? And that interesting woman, she said, bade admiyan zor se bolti, chote admiyan hallu bolti sab. We are big people talk loudly and we are humble people, we talk very softly. We are small people. To humble ourselves, to talk softly. No fasting is over until you stop loud talk, angry talk, fighting talk, abusive talk. Fasting is not about just keeping the mouth hungry. It is about controlling your tongue. It is about controlling your emotions. You can't get angry and shout at people. If somebody comes and fights with you, you have to tell them, sir, I am fasting today, I'll fight with you tomorrow. Not today, but. So, is that okay, Biju? I'll fight. By the way, you cannot fight today. I'm fasting. Let's see. We'll postpone it for another day. So, loving and humbling and caring and sharing. Send iftar to our neighbors. One iftar you give, one food you give, God gives you rewards and bounties of the other person's fast too. Think about your neighbor. Think about the starving people. There are so many youngsters here. We make food kits and distribute it across the city. Commiserating with them, understanding what hunger is all about. We have forgotten what hunger is. pondering, contemplating in the loneliness of the heart, in the quietness of the heart, and we self-assess ourselves and seek forgiveness. Where are we going? What are we doing? What is our relevance to the world around us? Are we harming the environment? Next. There, friends, this is the last side. So Ramadan is a statement that God created us, gave us bounties, made life easy and enjoyable, and showed us the way. We are seeking a life of peace, a life of hope, a life of love. And that is what Ramadan is all about. A life of family is what it is all about. And that is what fasting is all about. And this is a plea that we need to remember our merciful Creator, that who made us all, who gave us the conscience, who showed us the way. We should not forget this. What that centrality is all about. There's been abuse on the right, there's been abuse on the left, there's no question about it. But let us take the balanced, middle, proper path. Let us remember God, let us be thankful. Let us humble ourselves, and let us learn to care and share, spread the love, the peace, and the hope. Thank you very much for patient listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah Sahab, thank you so much for the journey that you took us through. I've never seen we've seen political debates, but I think Doctor played both sides equally well, and especially didn't see the map of the left and right ever before with all the political parties put together. If people want copies, I want a copy of the presentation, so I'm going to ask for one, but if anybody needs, just ask any of the volunteers, we'd be happy to send that across to you. And Doctor gave us a lot of what right doesn't work, left doesn't work. However, I'm sure he must have raised a lot of doubts and questions in your mind, because he didn't really give much of a clear answer at the same time. So if anybody have any questions, please go ahead, you can raise your hand, and Inzamam will come there and bring the mic over to you. If anybody has anything that you want to ask Dr. Saab, he'd be glad to try his best to answer on anything he spoke about or anything else you think that he could help with.
So, thank you for the well-balanced center talk. I just wanted to understand the history behind Iftar, how it started. If you could throw some light on that, it would be great. Thank you.
Your name, please? Prasad. All right. Nice question, Prasad. Fasting is something that is common to all nations and all religions, by the way. The Christians fast, the Hindus fast, the Jains fast, everybody fasts. Okay? In some form or the other. The Jews fast. So there is Lent, there is Passover, there is so many these things where people fast. And obviously there is a start time and there is an end time to the fasting. And the Muslim fast begins before the break of dawn. There is a particular time, okay? And that is when it starts, and it ends exactly at sunset. This is a Quranic scriptural writing. You fast from dawn to dusk. And therefore, it's gotten into a tradition where right at Maghrib time, right at the time when the sun sets, we all sit around food, waiting for the time. We don't delay, because God says eat and we eat. So we are waiting for that time to happen. And when the time happens, we say, thank you, God, please accept our fast, please forgive us, and it's your promise that you forgive people who fast for your sake. And we say that, and we say our prayers, and we fast, we break our fast. Traditionally, we use a date to open the fast, a khajur to open the fast, but it's not necessary. We sometimes drink water, where you can take anything that you have, any eatable, and we break our fast and then go for prayers. I don't know if you have any more specific question, but in mosques and in many places, it's a very elaborate thing. And thousands of people do communal opening of the fast, Iftar. And it's considered extremely, full of rewards to help other people open a fast. So we feed each other. We cook in our homes and we send food to our neighbors to earn rewards for it. And that's the tradition of the Iftar, and to share with others. Thanks, Prasad. Thanks for asking. There's one more hand there, please.
Sir, I have two questions. First question, as you said, as a human being, we should obey the God without asking any questions. So, don't you think as a citizen of our country, we should obey our Prime Minister or any country's president, we should obey without asking any questions? This is the first question. And the second one is, you said that we should not give right to vote to everyone. Everyone should not have the right to vote. Then who will decide who will get the right to vote?
Thank you. What's your name again, please?
Raj Shekhar.
Thanks, Raj. Thank you very much for asking. The first question. To be law-abiding citizens of any place, of a school, of a college, of a job, of everything is part of human commitment. Okay? We are all living contracted lives here, and we owe it to our nation, we owe it to our government, and it is very, very important and fundamental to be law-abiding citizens of a state and a country. We actually don't obey the Prime Minister, we obey the law. And the Prime Minister also obeys the law. And regardless of whether he obeys the law or not, we obey the law anyway. That's the stand. There may be theoretically, hypothetically, situations where the man-made law could overwhelm God's law. All right? There's a great movie, Hacksaw Ridge. You should see that movie. How an American citizen's rights he feels are affected during the Second World War. Was it the second or the first? Second World War. And his conscience pricks. He says, the Lord says, thou shalt not kill. And I'm not going to kill, but I have to serve my nation. I'm going to join the army, but I'm not going to kill. So the army says, all right, and gives him a gun and teaches him to kill in self-defense. They say, if you come to war, you'll have to kill other people, at least in self-defense. He says, no, I'm not going to learn the gun. I am not going to do it. But there can be situations where your conscience could be overwhelmed. Muhammad Ali, during the Vietnam War, chose to go to jail than to go and kill the Vietnamese. I don't know what Donald Trump did at that time, but Muhammad Ali chose to go to jail. So there can be some situations where the law of the land can be in conflict with your conscience, and then you have to make your own decisions. But in general, we need to be law-abiding citizens and tax-paying citizens of the country. Your second question put words that I did not say into my mouth. I did not say, I'm sorry, that one man, one vote is wrong. I said you should think about it. This is a question that you should ask. What is and what is not right and wrong? In some ways we are equal in front of the law and in our rights. And in some ways we are not equal. Being in the center means that you understand who is equal and who is not equal. A father is not equal to his son. And a father is not going to say, hi John, how are you doing today? Hey, I'm your father, man, don't call me John. Why David? I'm not sure about that. My boss, my professor, what's his name? He was an Italian, Marcus Perselli. He was my professor, head of the department. He used to say, hey, my name is Marcus Perselli, you can call me Marcus. I said, sir, I cannot call you Marcus. You are my honorable Guruji, my Ustad, my teacher, my Hazrat. How can I call you that? There is some sense of equality and some sense of inequality. Okay? So we need to understand the nuance of this and conduct our lives accordingly. Where we are equal, where we are not equal. This is something we need to understand. I did not say one vote, one man, one vote is necessarily wrong in all situations. That's not correct. Thanks. Any questions?
All right. Okay. Anything else? Or can we wrap up, Dr. Okay. If there are no further questions, well, thank you very much. If you still want further discussions, Dr. Saab will be around. Dinner will be served now. There are many people who went behind putting this event together, but one special word of thanks to Feroz Bhai. He gives us this venue year after year. So thank you very much for Feroz Bhai. We're very thankful and grateful for providing us this place. So dinner is served. Non-veg will be served to my right, so that will be to your left, and veg will be to my left. We request since they're not separate arrangement for ladies and gents, we request the ladies to go first. Please go ahead and you can go ahead and serve yourself, be served, and after which, once the line's thinner, then the gents can go. Any other logistical announcements, anybody else? Okay, and restrooms are to my left. So thank you all very, very much for coming. Thank you for your questions as well. Looking forward to meet and greet with you further during dinner. Thank you all very much. Good night.